أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Dear brother and sisters, Alhamdulillah, all praise to Allah Azza wa Jalla for all the blessings and all the ni'mah that He has given upon us. Alhamdulillah, we still breathe the fresh air today in this wonderful 10 fabulous day, the golden hours in the month of Zulhijjah. May Allah reward all your good deeds in this most blessed and beneficial day for us. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. I hope my dear brother and sister, wherever you are, stay safe and in the guidance and protection of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Alhamdulillah, we meet again with the weekly session of question and answers about Islam and the Holy Quran. Alhamdulillah, with me now we have about 3 questions that was provided by brothers and sisters from different parts of the world. Alhamdulillah, thank you very much for the contribution of the question. InsyaAllah, we will try to answer and discuss it today. So the first question is about Assalamu'alaikum Warahmatullahi Wabarakatuh. Ustaz, Waalaikumsalam Warahmatullahi Wabarakatuh. Could you please supply me with some advices from the Hadith and Quran on the importance of hijab for women in every condition whenever we live in this world? Thanks. Jazakumullah khairan. Yes, this is a question about hijab. Mainly the questions about hijab and the dalil or the verses is located in 2 big surah or in 2 big chapter. The first chapter is within Surah An-Nur or the chapter of the light, and the second is within the Surah Al-Ahzab, the chapter of Al-Ahzab. Yeah. So these 2 surah explain exactly the definitions of hijab, how the hijab has to be worn, and as well as what are the conditions of the hijab and when to wear the hijab and when we can actually relax a little bit with the hijab. So in Surah An-Nur, it was mentioned by Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala that وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنَّ وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنَّ وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ. The first is that tell to the believers, the Muslim, the woman of the Muslim, to وَقُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنَاتِ يَغْضُضْنَ مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِنْ وَيَحْفَظْنَ فُرُوجَهُنْ, is to lower their gaze and to protect or to not disclosing their private part. Yeah. وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا, and do not show to everyone else their beauty, yeah, apart from what has normally can be seen, which is the palm and as well as the part of the face. Yeah. And then It was mentioned again, وَلْيَضْرِبْنَ بِخُمُرِهِنَّ عَلَى جُيُوبِهِنْ. It is that they need to cover with their veil, from the head until the part of the chest. Ala juyubihin. Al juyubihin means is the pocket, an area of a pocket. So which means that the hijab has to be worn up to protect until the chest part of the woman. Yeah. So that's actually how the hijab has to be worn. So the first beginning of the ayah explain about the mandatory responsibility for every Muslims, not only limited to the female but also the male, because the previous ayah was talking about the male, and the second ayah is talking about the female. So it starts with the same, which is to lower their gaze, not to look on the things that is not prohibited, yeah, and as well as to close and keep the sensitive part of the beauty, did not disclose them to people who is outside their family. So that's one of the rules. So which means that every Muslim, whenever they go out, they have to dress in modest. And modest has a definition, different definition between the male and then the female. And so for the female, especially that their veil has to cover until the part of the chest. So as you can see now that there are Muslim female that they wore hijab, but the part of the chest was not properly covered. Even to make it even worse, some of the shirt was actually showing the shape of the body. So this is not actually how the hijab should be worn. So which means that it is not correct, because the veil should cover part to the chest, which is to close the shape of the female body. So this is very important on the proper way to use the hijab. Yeah. وَلَا يُبْدِينَ زِينَتَهُنَّ إِلَّا لِبُعُولَتِهِنَّ. So the female of the Muslim female should not disclose, should not show their beauty. Means that their beauty is that the part of the body which is normally covered by the hijab. For example, the hair, yeah, or other part. And this beauty should not be shown to everyone that is outside of the family, but with an exception that it is permissible to show the beauty to the close relative, for example, to the husband, to the father, to the father-in-law, to your children, your son, to your brothers, yeah, not brothers in Islam, but real brothers from the blood relation. And to your nephew means that son of your brother or son of your sister, and as well as your sisters in Muslim, and as well as children that has no intention or that doesn't know about woman yet. So it means that a small kid, yeah. So that is actually how the hijab should be worn, when and the permissible when we can actually remove the hijab. So if you are in your house, and in your house you only have your close relative, like what was mentioned by the Surah An-Nur, that either your husband or your brothers or your sisters or your fathers or your mothers, then you are permissible, to remove the hijab. Yeah. But if there are other people, if there is your neighbor, for example, or other long distance relative, then you should wear the hijab again, even if it's in your house. Yeah. So I hope this is clear about the rules and regulation, when you can use it, when you must use it, and when you can remove it. And the second is about why do Muslim women need to wear hijab. So this question is explained in Surah Al-Ahzab in verses 59. It was the surah was stated that the commandment was asked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the Prophet to Qullil mu'minat. Yeah. So means that it started with the Prophet was requested to order this command to his wife, to his daughter, and to the rest of the female Muslim believers, that is to cover their part of the chest with the veil, same as what was mentioned in the Surah Nur. And also it was explained the reason. It is to protect the woman. Yeah, because in the time when the Prophet lived, that the women in Arab country are often subjected for discrimination as well, and therefore Islam came and put the woman into an honor position, with the dress, so that they look modest, and so that their private part and their beauty is covered, and that said there won't be no male that will try to do bad things to them. That is one thing. And the second is that so that people can distinct and differentiate them between the believer Muslims and with the non-believers. So that's also one of the reason why the hijab is mandatory. Yeah, so basically, sisters, this is to protect yourself, and as well as that, so that you can be recognized. Yeah, I think if you see, there are a couple of YouTube video that actually demonstrate this behavior. So there was a woman, this is like a social experiment. She walked in the street of New York. The first time is that she did not wear hijab, so she just walked, plain clothes, and there was a lot of catcalling, male who would just shout to the lady or whistle to the lady. It was like almost 100, just in a short period of time. Then the second experiment, she wore a hijab, and surprisingly, nobody even looked at her. So this is one of the indication that actually this command is really correct from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah knows what actually, this fitna or this test to the male, which is, very sensitive when it comes to female. So this is actually helping to protect the woman itself, yeah, from any harassment or unnecessary disturbance from from other people. Okay, so I hope that's clear.